I'm Aaron Fry. I own the Fast on Dirt Tour, sponsored by TI Performance 22. I also happen to own the Buckeye Outlaw Sprint Series, the non-wing series, but they're not coming this Thursday night. It's about the Fast Series this week.
I'm Brad McCown. I'm part owner, half owner of Atomic Speedway with Chad Walters, who couldn't be here. He's on his houseboat partying, unfortunately. But I also promote and do track prep and stuff here. So
I got a younger brother, and he and I, as we grew up, this was our home racetrack, and at that era, it was KC Raceway. Of course, this originally was known as Atomic Speedway, opened in the early 1950s, but most of the folks that sit in the grandstands these days don't really remember a whole lot of that original Atomic era. It's all about the KC Raceway era, which began in 1985. So I would have been 11 years old at the time. My brother would have been, I think, 7 years old at the time, and we grew up with this as KC Raceway. So it was his idea, gave me the idea to present to Brad to bring back an event called the KC Classic to pay tribute to the years that it ran under that name. I raced for several years first, and I guess as my career moved along, I knew my time was limited, and so I wanted to stay active in the sport. And I ran with a few different little traveling series that just didn't amount to a whole lot, and I always felt like I could have done it better than they did it. And I don't mean to sound stuck up about it, but I mean, I could see the mistakes they were making. They never had the driver's point of view. Maybe that was the case. So I kind of knew where I was headed as I got older. But it's been a lot of fun. It's neat to still be a part of the sport this way. I'm glad I've got great partners like Brad. You know, the racetracks that we get a race at, we race at a lot of premier facilities. And now for some bigger and bigger money, we just ran for $10,000 to win 2 nights ago. Now we've got $20,000 to win here coming up at Atomic Thursday. We've got another $20,000 and another $10,000 to win. That's bringing in bigger and bigger names. So this is a regional race tour, but we've got the best of the regional racers that race with us. And now with $20,000 to win, we're expecting drivers not only from around the country, around the world. We have a driver flying probably in the air right now coming from Australia. He's due into Cincinnati Airport tonight, planning to be here as long as he gets through his COVID test and everything, I guess. But we're going to have an Australian driver in the field here Thursday night. It'll be his first race in the States once he arrives here.
I know, like our regulars and our track champions, the last couple of years, Cole Duncan will be here. He's won both races here this year already. He's in top of your points too, second in his points. And then all his series drivers, he can go through them. But I know regulars here, you got Cole, Josh Davis, Brandon Wimmer, Keith Baxter, Kel Stinson will probably be in Eddie Sloan's car. Mark Emler's going to be here. He's a local guy, fabricator and stuff, has precision machine. But just several guys. Todd Kane won several races here. That's our kind of local group. And there'll be some all-star drivers here also. We've talked to some of them. They had to get permission and stuff from the all-stars. It's kind of like a World of Outlaw deal. They got to have permission to come race other places like that. The best of the best, I mean, especially in Ohio and around Indiana, Pennsylvania is going to be here. You know, for $20,000, if they want to make some money, Thursday night's the place to be, you know, so.
From our tour, our current point leader is actually from the state of Washington, Snohomish, Washington. Of course, he's living here in the Midwest while he's racing, but Gary Taylor, our current point leader, will be here. Mitch and Jordan Harbaugh, brothers, they're in our top 5 in points. Lee Jacobs and his cousin R.J. Jacobs also in our points. Cale Conley out of Vienna, West Virginia, he ran second just Saturday night in our big $10,000 to win race. Frankie Nervo, I think, is going to be here. I wasn't really ready.
There's going to be guys.
Our defending champion Tyler Gunn, who missed Saturday night. He blew an engine at our Waynesfield race a month ago and just got his engine back Saturday morning. He should be fresh and ready to go here, and he's been getting faster and faster every time he's here. I think Tyler's sniffing a win here before too long at Atomic. Kids are our future. We just had kids night this past week. We had almost 400 kids here, and we actually got meet the drivers night next week, and we're going to have the Chillicothe Youth Baseball League is going to be here. They're going to have their teams and coaches, and we invited all them. We'll have that out coming after this show, but we got to get the kids involved. We want to get the kids involved, bring the parents here. We make our concessions very affordable. Kids 10 and younger are free every week, every show, whether it's $100,000 to win or $2,000 to win. I had 3 kids. I knew what it was trying to get them into the races every week. We give discounts for pit passes and kids. And plus our passes just general for the type of show that we put on. Nobody
lets people in as cheap as we do for that type of show, you know what I mean? And, we want to give everybody a nice, quick show. We only got 2 classes this Thursday, just 410 sprints and sport mods. And the sport mods ain't a filler class, but when the main event, sprint cars ain't out there, the sport mods will run their races, gives his guys a chance to get everything ready, and then we bring them back out. But just nice family atmosphere. Yeah, we sell alcohol and stuff like that, but we don't, if anybody gets rowdy, we take care of it. But we got plenty of stuff for the kids to do. We got a $30,000 playground right down there that 99% of tracks don't have. Jim Neer put that in years ago. So it's that's the thing, and we've even got a family section if they just want to sit down there where there's no smoking and drinking and all that stuff. So getting families back involved is what it needs to be about.
For me, whenever I invite people to the races, I tell them a little bit about what I do. Ironically, I just dealt with this with some people that work at my bank. They were asking why I'm all the time dealing in large checks from guys like this. Anyway, I was explaining to them, and I invited them down to the race Thursday night. But I explained it to them that you take a racetrack, this is just a little bit bigger than the track around a high school football field. A high school football field pretty well fits in the middle of this racetrack. Mm-hmm. So if you can imagine 1 1/2 laps around your local high school track in 11 seconds, that is absolutely hauling the mail. So the speeds is the number one attraction, especially when it comes to the wing 410 sprint cars, and the way these guys will ride inches off the wall, not with the side of the car inches off the wall, with the right rear corner, sometimes actually literally bouncing off the wall. It is flat impressive. Yeah. So that's the key attraction in my opinion.
Yeah. There's still several people who don't even know this racetrack is here, and it's been here for 68 years. So, I get calls every week, where are you located? What do you race there? What time do you stop? What time do you quit racing? That's my favorite question now, because you get questions that people just don't know about.
The large wings on top of the car, the creation of the downforce from those wings, it's not just the air over the wing, but the air under the wing sucking the car to the racetrack. When they go green for the first round of practice, we've had first-timers here before grab the people around them because they literally think, I don't see how they make it around the corners. Yeah. Because without those wings, they wouldn't make it around the corners. But, it is something unique to see the cars that fast go enter a corner at those kind of speeds and the cars stick to the ground the way it does. So,
and his other series that doesn't run the wings, and they usually put on some of the best racing anywhere, especially here. We've had some wild races, but they're completely sideways through the corner. Once again, from the wing cars, and it's just unreal that they're sideways and in and out, but they scare me to death.
They're not as fast. The non-wing cars aren't as fast as the wing cars, but driver control is absolutely at a premium. That wing that plants the car helps make it a little bit easier to drive. You got to have a lot of testicular fortitude to do what they do, but the non-wing guys aren't going as fast, but it's a lot more driver control in the cockpit. There's a lot more up and down on both pedals and a whole lot more cranking the steering wheel in a non-wing sprint car. It's more in the driver's hands. The wing cars, no offense to my wing drivers, but those races are won and lost in the pit area, at the engine shop, chassis changes, adjustments, things like that. Then the boys that get in those cars just have to have the guts to hold it up against the wall for 30 or 40 laps. Yeah. We're back here for 3 more races with the Fast Series through the course of the year, and one of the longest running events here, annual events, is the Freedom 40, which is in September this year and pays $10,000 to win. Thursday night pays $20,000 to win, but the $10,000 to win Freedom 40 may hold just a little bit of an edge right now as far as the prestige.
It's the 23rd, I think. It's the 23rd of the Freedom 40.
Cole Duncan has had a lock on that Freedom 40. I think he's won something like 5 out of the last 6 or something crazy. But the competition's getting tougher. When Austin McCarl drove the Jim Youth 101 here at the opening race, took Austin McCarr, he was from Iowa, took him half the race to figure out how to run this place, but he was running Cole down the second half of the feature, and that's the car the Australian boy will be in here Thursday night. If things go according to plan, he should be here. But we look for him to be fast. It may take him a night, though, to figure out this racetrack. So come September, Cole could have a run for his money for that another Freedom 40 title.
And a lot of people have asked why we're not running the weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Well, we've tried different races here, past weekend or Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend. Them are hard weekends because everybody wants to do something else.
Everybody's doing something, yeah.
So we decided to do the Thursday Night Thunder. It's been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to take credit for this one. I'm the one who told him everybody loves a 3-day weekend, holiday weekend, or a 4-day weekend. let's kick this weekend off on a Thursday. Everybody's already got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday considered to be a holiday party weekend. We're gonna kick it off.
Yeah, and last year it was our 67th year, so it was 6,700 to win. Mm-hmm. And then time that race was over last year, we'd already announced it was going to be 20,000 to win this year. So, you know, it's been a while. So,
yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, this is the highest paying sprint car race in the history of this track.
Ever here, yeah.
And
they've had some huge late model races when the DTWC was here, and then I've had one that was 50,000 to win. The Buckeye Nationals in 2016, but other than that, this is the top paying race that we've had.
Top paying sprint
What does that extra 10,000 do to the rest of the field? I mean, did that make it a little more intense?
It brings in, you know, a few bigger names, and the local drivers here are gonna have to step up their game. Even the start money, you know, is higher than what it is, you know, for a standard show. Yeah. So just making the main event is a big deal for everybody. But that extra money on the line, you know, I think it's the prestige factor more than anything. Just to say, hey, I won the KC Classic, or, you know, like the Freedom 40 coming up. That's now the two marquee events at this track for sprint car racing.
And that's what we want to bring back too. And I was talking to some drivers. It was a couple late mile guys because they was asking about running for points and this and that. And I want to bring back to where winning a track championship, not only here but any track, that needs to be important anymore, rather than just chasing big money races. But I also want to have these big money races so it gives back to our local drivers. You know, they can still run these big shows and this and that stuff. So, you know, and it'll be a good mix of talent from all over. There's going to be guys coming that we don't know about. That's going to be surprises. But it'll be a good show regardless.
For the people who haven't been to a race here or don't really know a lot about this place, the history here is incredible. Several drivers that ran here in the 50s and 60s did go on to NASCAR careers. When I was a kid, I sat here in the bleachers and watched Jeff Gordon in 1985, 1986. I think up through about 1988, off and on, he would run here, made a lot of laps around this place. I'll never forget my first time here. He actually flipped his sprint car down here in turn 1 and 2. And we had a fella in our group who blurted out something like, well, that's probably the last we'll see of that kid. He came back out in the consolation event, won it, started deep in the field and came up and finished. He didn't win it, but he finished like 3rd, 4th, 5th, something like that. But that told me, even at my young age, I was only about 10 years old sitting in the bleachers then, and I thought, wow, that kid's going to be good. And Jeff was only 13 or 14 when he rolled that car down here. He was very young.
The Karstners were the first ones that let him drive, let him race because of insurance reasons and stuff like that. So, you know, people can take credit for this and that, but he ran here more than anywhere else. And we put him in the Hall of Fame. Like it was 2017 or 2018, he came back. Of course, it rained. I think every race I have it rains, or snows, but it rained that night. It was still, you know, packed house, and he is by far the most cordial and nicest person to be a superstar that I've ever been around.
Yeah.
You know, I've been around other, you know, going through the pits and stuff like that, and especially in Florida and stuff. But he was shaking everybody's hands, stopping, doing autographs, and, you know, everybody just has a perception he's a star, he's stuck up. Well, he's completely opposite. He's a super guy.
And you've had a lot of big names here over the years.
Just last year, we had Kyle Larson here, and in his incredible run of wins or seconds, you know, he was 1 or 2 at like 15 races in a row or something incredible through that stretch. He had one that was a 6th place finish, and on that record run, that sticks out. And everybody looks at it. That was this event. Our event last year was our Freedom 40. And what had happened is he was leading the event and brushed the wall coming out of turn number 4. And down here on this end of the racetrack, the thing went flat and exploded on him.
Tire.
He went to I would say the rear of the field. Lap cars go to the very back. So he restarted, I think it was 15th, and got from 15th back to 6th in just the last half of the race.
Laps,
very end of the race. So technically, he probably would have won that one too if he hadn't blown a tire. But it was his own mistake. I was the race director. You know, I call the yellows up from the tower, and I watched him through turn 4 just drift high and brush the wall. It was his own mistake.
That's just something simple.
Yeah,
that's how easy
stuff happens.
You know, $20,000 can lose your grasp. Yeah. You know, they got 40 laps here at, you know, speeds averaging 110 miles an hour. You know, if track stays nice and decent. You know, that's and it can happen quick. We've ran 25 lap races here in 4.5 minutes, and they're done. You know what I mean? So
there's no yellows. Yeah, it's over in the blink of an eye. But the concentration factor it takes to run these cars 25, 30, whatever, I think we're going to go 40 laps for this one, 40 laps, to run up against the wall every lap for 40 laps, especially once you get into lap traffic and you're dealing with passing the slower cars. The amount of concentration it takes, one little mistake, one bobble, and you can be flying clean out of the facility, off the backstretch, or just any, the crashes can be pretty severe in sprint car racing. And as much as we try not to sell that part of the aspect of it, it is why some people come. I mean, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt,
my sister
but some
was
people
like
come
that.
for the crashes. Yeah, the crashes are spectacular.
My sister just loved to see wrecks. and then once she started helping me, she was doing office stuff and does ticket stuff. And she realized how long some of the shows can go if you have a bunch of wrecks. She's like, I don't like wrecks no more, so.
And something else for the people that, first timers coming here, if you trace the evolution back through the years of sprint car racing, it is the oldest form of racing in the country. If you trace it back, year by year, the beginning of auto racing, the driver sat behind the engine sat in front of him, one seat centered in the car, and the four wheels wide open. They look like the little Monopoly car, the little car Monopoly, but that's how far back it goes. And through the years, they have evolved. There were no rules. You pretty much built a car and ran what you built. And today it's pretty well the same thing. Our rule book would probably take up about a quarter of this little Classic Brands card right here. There aren't many rules. They have to run a certain brand of tire. The wing on the top has to be a flat top wing, and the car with driver has to weigh 1,400 pounds. And 1,400 pounds, that's with the driver, keep in mind.
And 1,000 horsepower.
These cars are making, roughly 1,000 horsepower. So they're the highest horsepower to weight ratio cars in the world for circle track racing. So
and I invite
the only thing that beat that.
We invite everybody to come up here and maybe take a peek real quick inside this new VIP lounge we got. And Dave Williams, who used to run Ross County Auto Parts, he supplies these boards back here for all of our Hall of Fame shows and stuff like that. Come and take a look at all these pictures of all the old stuff. And gates open at 4, pit gates open at 3, general admission gates open at 4. Going to push hot laps back just a little bit, let everybody get here. Holiday weekend, of course, hot laps will be at 7. So just 2 classes, we'll still get her through pretty quick. And people that unfortunately have to work Friday, we'll get them there early. So
racing action probably will be closer to 8 p.m.
8,
start.
yeah.
And for the people that are coming first timers, the cars will come out and do a little practice session, both divisions. Then our wing sprint cars will come out, and 2 cars at a time, they'll be on the clock. They get 2 laps each, so 2 cars for 2 laps. And what they're doing, they're time trialing. They want to go as fast as they can time trialing. We do invert a few in the heat races, but the fastest qualifier, if he makes the main event, is automatically in a redraw that sets the front 3 or 4 rows of the feature. So those guys, everybody out here is going to be trying to go as fast as they can. So it'd be nice if we could set a track record, but with the heat the way it's been here the last few days, it's going to be tough to get the track in shape. Racetracks are their fastest when there's a little bit of moisture in them. If you ever walked across a drying up mud puddle and had mud about suck your shoe off your foot, that is the perfect condition for a dirt track to set your fastest laps. And when it's 87, 88 degrees and sunny and a breeze blowing, it's hard for a racetrack to keep that moisture in it. So I don't know if we'll set a track record, but you'll see the fastest laps of the night in the time trials.
And it's hard for the old fat guy watering it too. So